On this channel, I have shared a number of different AI tools. I know that sometimes that can get a little bit overwhelming, knowing that there are so many different tools out there and not knowing which one would work best for you. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to write a first-class essay using just one AI tool that I've shared on the channel before, alongside other traditional apps. Remember that on this channel, I am really emphasizing the use of AI in an ethical way, which means not just simply asking the AI platform to write something for you and copying and pasting that, because that would be considered as plagiarism. So I specifically am looking for ways to use AI to enhance your critical skills, to enhance your writing skills, and to aid in simply refining your work and being more productive. Step one is choosing a strong topic. If you are writing an essay, you need to make sure that the topic is one that you are able to do some research on, it's one that you are interested in, and it's one that you're actually going to be able to generate some sort of argument from. Now, a lot of the time, you're probably just given this essay title, or sometimes you're given a selection of titles. So if you are given a selection of, let's say, 5 titles, look at them and try to determine the one that you'd be most interested in, and the one where you might find the most research papers and kind of the most discussion on online. The second step is to start your research. Now, to be able to do this, I would stick to the traditional tools. So using something like Google Scholar or using something like PubMed allows you to simply search manually for your topic question and try to find some research papers from where you can begin to grasp an understanding of the topic and kind of understand the research space. As you're reading, so in the second step, as you're reading, what you want to be doing is pulling out information, extracting key points, extracting critical discussion, and kind of just keeping a note of those on something like a note-taking app or a spreadsheet. The third step is to develop a concise thesis statement. Now, a thesis statement is a statement that determines the position of your argument within your essay. This should be very carefully refined because it's what's going to determine sort of the direction that you go into when you mention other research papers, when you use evidence from other papers. How are you articulating this? If you know what your thesis statement is, you have a much better idea and a much stronger position for how to write. And then step 4, we're getting into the juicy parts of it now. Now we want to start to outline our essay. So we know what our reading is, we know what the question is, we know what our title is, we know what our thesis statement is, and now we want to plan. To be able to do this, we're going to be using an AI tool called Jenny. And I've mentioned Jenny quite a few times on this channel before because I truly think it's one of the most transformative and useful AI tools that students can use. Jenny is an AI-powered writing tool that is essentially your writing assistant. It uses AI to formulate the next best sentence. When you begin a new document on Jenny, what you want to do is to give a bit of information about what you're writing about. So in this case, I want to generate an outline, which is just simply a plan of what I'm writing about for this particular essay. And so as you can see, it completely breaks it down for me from the introduction all the way down to the conclusion. And this is a really great way for using AI ethically. You're able to take this outline and then input the information that you have acquired from your reading yourself. And this is simply generating an outline for you and assisting you with that beginning first step. Once you've now generated your outline and you know sort of what is going to be included in each of your paragraphs, you now need to begin to write. And start from the top, start from the introduction, start right at the beginning and start to build a story from which you are taking the reader from the beginning, from the introduction, all the way through the arguments, take them through a journey, and then conclude. This is just a first draft. A big downfall of many students, and myself included in the past, was that I would try to perfect this first draft. I would try to get to the point where this first draft has no spelling mistakes, has no errors, it's completely clear, it's completely cohesive, it's structured excellently. And what happens when you do that is you end up spending more time messing around, trying to perfect an essay that isn't even completed yet. So in this step, all you're doing is writing, all you're doing is building your arguments, putting together the evidence and the sources that you've read prior and making that into a cohesive structure. Jenny can also help you with this step. One of the really useful tools that Jenny offers is that it can begin your sentences for you. And what this is doing is just overcoming that initial writer's block where you don't quite know how to begin. You have the information, but it's just helping you start. So as you can see, what it's doing is giving me some suggestions for how to begin the paragraphs or how to begin the different sections. And then from there, I can ask for a suggested next sentence. And remember, what you're doing here is just asking for support and then using that to help scaffold what you're actually going to be writing about. Step six is, of course, revision and editing. And this is actually probably my favorite step. It's a step where you can really turn your essay around. Take it from a 40%, a 50% to an 80%. This is where you identify any grammatical errors, where you correct your spelling, where you make sure your sentences are structured accurately. To be able to do this, one way is to simply give your essay or your piece of work to someone to read. So you can give it to a peer, to your supervisor, to a lecturer, and just ask them to take a look at it for you. But another way you can do this is by using Jenny again. Jenny is one of the leading tools out there that use AI to refine your spelling, your grammar, consistency, and all the checks that mean that you are presenting a piece of work that is coherent, clear, and free of any errors. One of the most powerful aspects of Jenny's platform is that it can really improve your writing with a number of different AI commands. You can improve the fluency, you can paraphrase, you can simplify, you can make it longer, and even translate it. So in this case, what I want to do is make this sentence slightly simpler because I think it's a little bit too convoluted. And actually, you can see here, it has really cleaned it up and made it sound a lot clearer and a lot more concise. You can see again, I'm simplifying another sentence just to see what it can do for me. And again, it's cutting it down and just making it sound that little bit more academically concise. I can also paraphrase, which is where you are taking what you've written and cleaning it up a little bit. And remember that you can easily change the language from UK to US English to ensure that you're writing in the correct format that is required for your particular essay. Step 7 is where you kind of just go back a step and make sure that your arguments are refined. So remember that to be able to aim for a first-class essay, you need to make sure that you have a very strong critical discussion. Your arguments are really well tailored, as this is the difference between a student who has maybe a 50 or 60% and a student that aims at a 70% or 80%. These students, if you look at their work, the main difference isn't really maybe the structure, it isn't the way what they've said, but it's the argument, it's the depth, it's the way that they've pulled out critical points in order to add that depth and in order to add that kind of expertise when it comes to their thesis statement and their discussion. And actually, Jenny can also help you with strengthening your arguments and incorporating sort of counter arguments to certain things that you might have said prior. Another really useful feature that Jenny offers is the use of helping you develop your arguments further. So here's a sentence that is discussing an argument within this essay, and I can say to write an opposing argument. And it can actually pull out an idea that's opposing and begin the idea so I can then develop it further myself. Okay, so towards the end now, step 8 is working on your citations and your references. So this is such a key part of, to be honest, any essay at any level, but particularly if you're aiming for the first level, so over 70%, you need to make sure that your references and your citations are absolute top-notch. You need to make sure that they are correct, that you have appropriately referenced, that the formatting is clear and it's easy to be able to understand and it's consistent throughout your essay. That's the key thing here. And to be able to do this, you can also use Jenny. And Jenny can help you adhere to the chosen style, and you can also build a library where you're able to import all of your citations. And as you write, you can import the citations in the appropriate places, and this will generate a sort of reference list for you automatically. Step 9 is the final review. Now you've completed everything, you've added your references, you've tailored, and now you just have to run a quick final review to make sure that everything is structured, it's formatted, it's clean, and it's ready for submission. And then step 10, of course, is submission. Ensure that you are following any university guidelines for this. So go back and check what your university asks you for when it comes to submission. Do you need a cover page? Do you need the word count? Do you need a certain border or certain indent? These are things that are university specific, and those are things that you can kind of do at the last point. Look out for things like spacing, font size, double-sided or single-sided pages. These are all things that I've seen universities specifically ask for before, so do make sure that you follow those guidelines to the T. In this particular video, we're speaking about writing an essay quickly, but it's important to remember that give yourself enough time. Don't wait until the last week or don't wait until the last few days to start writing an essay. Try to give yourself ample time for reading, for revision, for writing, and this means that you'll be able to get a much more enhanced version of what you would have written if you were on a tighter deadline. I have left a discount code down below for Jenny. If you want to go and try it out, it's Amina20. I'll leave it on screen here as well, and in the link in my description down below to try out Jenny AI, which is an amazing AI platform that I think you'd really find useful at all levels of academia. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, then don't forget to leave me a comment down below and subscribe to see more from me on this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.